Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. So I'm pretty excited about this video for a couple of reasons. One being that I just feel it in my blood and in my soul that it's time for another patchwork project. And also I think I might actually wear this one, so that's great. Another reason I'm excited is because Hobbii sent me this yarn to use for this cardigan. And this is really exciting because I love Hobbii. I have used their cotton yarn before and I did really like it. So that's why when they reached out to me, I was really excited. And I chose all lighter weight yarns. They're all weight 3 because I want this cardigan to be more drapey and just more comfortable. So Hobbii is a really great company. They're based out of Copenhagen. Definitely go check them out. Their website is great. They have a lot of resources on there as well as obviously yarn itself. But like if you go to their website and type in this yarn Amigo, you can scroll down and you see all the colors obviously, but then they also have a section where there's patterns for this specific yarn. So it's a great place to find inspiration for some projects. They also have like photo galleries from customers who have, you know, made projects with that specific yarn. So it's just a great place to find inspiration. They also have Hobbii Plus, which is a monthly subscription where you get some extra perks. You get access to more patterns. You accrue double the points when you make purchases. You have access to different types of sales and things like that. But yeah, they're a great company. From my first impressions of these yarns, I'm very pleased. So the first type of yarn is this one. It's called Amigo. So this is 100% acrylic. It's a weight 3 light yarn. It's in color 2, color 3, and color 5. So as you can see, keeping it pretty neutral. And then I got 2 of these mohair. It's called Diablo in color 14 and 11. And my idea, you know, mohair is like very thin, right? So my idea would be to mix these two to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of depth to some of my squares so that it's still interesting to look at. It's not just going to be 3 neutral colors and leave it at that, right? And then the third one, to add a little bit more depth, is this kind of like, you know, you can see what it looks like. It's called colorina, and it kind of just has like different tans and browns and neutrals that kind of match with the other ones that I picked. And I'm excited to see how this one works up. And this one has wool in it, which is great. So yeah, those are the yarns that I'm using. So I've already started a square because I wanted to just make sure I knew what I was doing before I started. It's okay, rewind. I decided to use a 5mm hook, and I decided to make my squares 5 inches by 5 inches. I made a little drawing. This is what I'm going off of. So as you can see, I need 42 squares, 3 by 4 for the back panel, and then the front panel is like 3 by 2 with like those for the neck. And then the sleeves are gonna be 3 by 3. Is that all the information that you need? I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't know what else to tell you. I am going to just start on a dark brown one, and for my original square I chained 19, and then I single crochet 21 rows, and that's it. I felt like because this yarn is fairly thin, the single crochet looks better. I tried double crochet and it was a little bit too holy, you know, and I just really like how clean and simple the single crochet looks. And yeah, I have to make 42 of these, and this is the boring part. So far so good. I have made a few squares in each of my neutral colors, but I'm kind of getting bored. So I want to try to do a square with this one. So this is what it looks like. It's like a nice little gradient moment, and it's like slightly smaller than my other squares, but like barely. I might make it like one chain wider actually. I'm gonna still keep this one because like at the end of the day it doesn't matter that much. So I'm going to chain 20 instead of 19. Pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna make a couple more of these and then I'm probably gonna jump back on and do a couple with the mohair tonight. This was the first one you already saw. I really love this one. It just makes such a nice gradient and they're all a little bit different and we love that. But I'm going to move on to a mohair one. I think I'm gonna pair this pinkish one with the white. I've never used mohair, so I don't know, period. But I'm just gonna do it as the same as the other, chain 19, 21 rows, and just see what happens, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of cool. It is a bit bulkier than I expected it to be with just adding like a tiny strand. So I'm wondering, no, I think it'll be the same size. Yeah, it'll be fine. I did end up switching my hook. I did 17 chains with the 5.5 millimeters. And I think it'll just be a little bit better to match the size of the other squares. The only thing that I'm not 100% sold about yet, I do really love the color of this, but I don't know if I love it for this sweater. Obviously we're keeping it neutral, so I have to decide if I want to bring in like the warm pink tone or if I just want to ditch that idea. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep on it. I mean, it looks cool. We're doing browns and then it's like randomly a little bit pink. I don't know. I'll decide later. It's been a few days and I've made a few more squares. We're getting there. Anyways, I decided to not use this blush pink color. I think I have to save it for a different project because I just really want to maintain like the neutral tones for this cardigan. So I'm just going to stick with the more tan color mohair and mix it with the light, the cream, the white, whatever color this is. I had a long day at work today. One thing I love about the hobby yarns is they do make it really easy to find your tails. They don't like bury them and make you dig. So I'm gonna work this up for a little bit. Again, I'm sizing up my hook. So I'm using the 5.5 and I'm chaining 17 instead of 19. So I'm going to work up this square and then I'll come back to you and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, cute. Can you see? Okay, this is perfect because it basically just from far away makes it kind of a tan color, kind of in between this lightest one and then the medium one there. Hold on, let me see if I can like show you. It's kind of between. It also matches the gradient one really well. It's also hella soft. I ended up doing 18 rows instead of 21. I'm just gonna go ahead and make several more squares. My last two squares, I'm going to end up making them kind of like diagonal for the neckline. I can't forget to do that. But quite honestly, I think next time that I check in will probably be when all my squares are done. Okay, hi. This is weird. It's fine, right? Okay, so I think I've finished my squares. As you can see, I even made triangular pieces for the neckline here. And basically what I did was I just decreased one every other row and it created this nice little decrease. My next step is going to be arranging all of the squares and sewing them together. Now, if you've watched any of my other patchwork videos, you know this is my least favorite part because I usually sew. I do not want to sew, so I think I'm going to slip stitch to connect the squares, and I did it on this one. And because the squares and the yarn is so floppy, it doesn't actually add much bulk at all, and I think it'll be slightly faster. I think my favorite of the yarns was this one. It is just so cool, the different variety of squares that it made. Super stoked about that. I think this sweater is going to be amazing. Okay, so far so good. This is one of the front panels. This is what the back looks like with the slip stitches. I forgot to mention I am using the same yarn, so the Amigo one, to slip stitch it together. And I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook because I didn't want it to be too tight. So I still have to do both sleeves, but there's a 100% chance I'm not finishing them tonight. I also ordered some buttons. They're just this like natural wood color because I figured it'll kind of go with the vibe of all the neutrals. It's been a few days. Please don't mind anything going on over here. The morale is low. I don't even remember like what I said the last time I talked to you, but since then I've finished stitching everything together, all the squares together. I still have to piece the pieces together, obviously. Also, I realized I had only made my sleeves 3 squares long and I have hella long arms. So I had to crochet 6 more squares to make the sleeves 3x4. Next, it's just as riveting as everything else, but I'm just gonna stitch all the pieces together. Starting with the shoulders. I'm gonna keep the sweater laid out just as it is and sew the sleeves on. And then the last thing I'll do is fold the sweater in half and do the seam down the arm and down the side all in one go. I hope that makes sense. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And then I just have to do the ribbing and add buttons. Okay, so I finished sewing, or I didn't sew it actually, I just crocheted. My biggest tip for a project like this is weave your ends in as you go. Do not leave them for the end, because I can't tell you the relief I felt when I just tied off my last knot and only had to weave in one end, and then I was done. So I'm going to just try it on. Oh my god. Cute. Oh my god. Wait, this is so cute. It's gonna be pretty cropped, but I want to do kind of like a thick ribbing. My sleeves are also a little bit long. I probably could have gotten away with 3 squares, 1, 2, 3, because it does come to my wrist. And if I did like a thick cuff, it would have been totally fine. But I kind of like a poofy, comfortable sleeve. It's kind of a vibe. Okay, hi. It is the same night. Just outfit change. I decided I'm gonna work on the ribbing for a little while. I'm going to use this like medium tan color. I'm gonna use my 5mm hook and I'm gonna start with the bottom ribbing. And what I've learned from doing other sweaters before, when you're doing ribbing like this, where you want to kind of cinch in the bottom, you have to space your stitches out a little bit more than you would normally because you want it to like squeeze together. That makes sense? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go in at the bottom of my sweater and chain 2. I think I'm gonna half double crochet, alternating front post and back post to create my ribbing. The thing with the ribbing too, when you do front post and back post crochet, is that it kind of naturally pulls it in too, because it is like a ribbing, you know what I mean? Also, like, why do I look like this? I'm skipping roughly every 4th stitch, and I'm just hoping that that'll work. If it works, I'll let you know. If it doesn't, I'll let you know what I do to fix it. So I did the bottom ribbing. I didn't count 8 rows, and I think that's gonna do it for me. I didn't tie off my end because what I'm gonna do is just start from here with where I'm at. I'm going to start working up and around the neck and back down. Not doing ribbing, just doing flat. I think I'm gonna do half double crochet as well. The only thing that I have to keep in mind as I do this is I have to make it wide enough so that the button sits within the border. I also have to make buttonholes on one side. I'm thinking I might do like 6 rows. So on like the 3rd row, I would have to make buttonholes. So we'll get there when we get there. Haven't figured that out yet, clearly. For the bottom ribbing, I spread out my stitches so it would scrunch together. You don't want to do that for this. You want to make sure that they're evenly spaced so that there's no like weird bunching, because I've also done that before. Okay, so I'm on my 3rd row and I'm going to half double crochet 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches into the 3rd stitch. I'm going to half double crochet just to continue as normal. So this yarn is pretty stretchy, so the button does fit through just a chain 2. So I'm just going to go up a little ways. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll do 4 buttons. I did 11 stitches, skip 2, you know the drill, half double crochet. My last button is a little bit high, but I'm just gonna continue because I don't want to redo it. That's like the bad thing about not planning ahead. Maybe I could have done like just 10 stitches in between instead of 11, but like it's literally whatever. I don't have to make buttonholes on the other side, obviously, because that's just where I'm gonna sew the buttons, but you never know. I had to say that out loud because the way my brain works, I probably would have started making buttonholes on the other side. So I'm gonna finish this off. I'm just gonna do 3 more rows back and forth. Okay, so I hope you can see clearly enough. I have the holes on this side. I'm going to just attach my buttons on that side. And all I'm going to do is use the yarn that I've been using and my little needle. And I'm going to start in the back. Uh-oh, my needle doesn't fit. I need a different needle. Make sure it fits through the hole. Yep, let's try that again. You want to line your button up with your hole. I'm going to go twice each way just to make sure it's super sturdy, and tie it. Cute. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that with all 4 of my buttons. So I did, oops, hold on. I did just try my sweater on and it's pretty much done, but we have a few alterations to make. 4 buttons is too much. It looks silly. It goes like all the way up here. So I'm going to just cut the top button off. And then what to do about the hole. I might just not do anything. I mean, when I'm wearing the sweater, you can't even really tell that there's a hole there. So we're actually just gonna leave it. On another note, I kind of like the look of the bell sleeve, but it does look a little bit unfinished and it's a little bit long. So I think the solution for that is I did start cinching it in. Basically, I just did a row of half double crochet in every other stitch to kind of cinch it in. And then I'm gonna do alternating front post and back post, half double crochet just for a few rows. This is already 2 rows done, and I think I'm probably just gonna do like 2 more rows because I don't want like a huge cuff, but I just want it to be like cinched in, because then it'll just hold it nicely above my wrist instead of having like floppy sleeves everywhere. And then once I finish this, I'll be done. Wow. I don't think I was spiritually or emotionally prepared to do a patchwork project. It kind of took the life out of me. As much as I love a good patchwork moment, it's not a project to start lightly. Anyways, I'm gonna go finish this thing. I did it. It's done. Oh, I never thought I'd see this day. All right, let's see. Let's give a little button. See, okay, so it's much better with 3 buttons because the 4th one was like all the way up here, and that's just like not okay. So yeah, my sleeves are a little bit long, but now at least they're cuffed at the sleeve or at the wrist, so I don't feel like I'm drowning. What do we think? I love it. It's cozy and warm, but it's kind of lightweight at the same time. I love the feel, the drape of the yarn. It's kind of a vibe. Thanks again to Hobbii. Couldn't have done it without you. This is definitely my favorite piece of clothing I've ever made. I think I'm gonna wear it to work tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for joining me on this adventure. Let me know what you think, and just know if you start a patchwork project, you gotta have perseverance. You can do it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.